Few people doubt Emily Maitlis is a very good journalist, but she's not an impartial journalist. She refuses to be, regardless of numerous dressing downs from her BBC bosses publicly and behind the scenes. So now it's time for the new Director General, Tim Davie, to live up to his promise to ensure impartiality on air and on social media. He must make it clear this type of opinion-driven journalism is not appropriate on the public service broadcaster that is meant to represent us all.
He made those who struggle to keep to the rules feel like fools and has allowed many more to assume they can now flout them. The Prime Minister knows all this, but despite the resignation of one minister, growing unease from his backbenchers, a dramatic early warning from the polls and a deep national disquiet, Boris Johnson has chosen to ignore it.
Now, Ms Maitlis has made it clear she thinks she's above the rules. In a new interview with the Press Gazette, she's said her BBC bosses were wrong to find her in breach of impartiality over that Dominic Cummings monologue, and she's accused them of giving in to political pressure from Downing Street. Asked if she regretted the incident, Ms Maitlis said, "No, I don't. It hasn't ever been explained to me what was journalistically inaccurate about that." The call from Downing Street came in, and within a 4-hour window, an apology was given. I think it pays to be particularly curious and particularly dispassionate about these things, because otherwise we lose something really important, which is editorial independence. But there was nothing editorially independent about Ms Maitlis's on-air rant. The BBC authorities investigated and made that clear. Likewise, the retweet of Piers Morgan that read, "If failing to quarantine properly is punishable by 10 years in prison, what is the punishment for failing to properly protect the country from a pandemic?" A spokesperson for the BBC responded to the Press Gazette Maitlis interview by saying, "Nothing is more important than our impartiality. All BBC journalists must abide by the BBC's editorial guidelines and social media rules. There are no exceptions. We will be taking this up with Emily." But what exactly does that mean? We all know where Ms Maitlis stands. She's made that clear. And that's the problem. She's paid out of our money and has a responsibility to be impartial. If she wants to express her anti-Boris, anti-Tory views ad nauseum, she can do so by leaving the BBC and joining The Guardian. But if the BBC wants us to believe they take impartiality seriously, they must not treat Ms Maitlis differently because she's one of their biggest stars, especially given they're considering hiring as their news boss a Boris and Brexit-hating former Huffington Post loudmouth called Jess Brammer. Not surprisingly, Jess Brammer was described by Ms Maitlis as a terrific journalist. They share the same worldview, after all. We're not stupid. The mask is slipping at BBC News. Tim Davie must act. How pathetic. The leader of no opposition, Sir Keir Starmer, strikes again. Finally, he has a chance to stop an authoritarian government measure in the form of vaccine passports, but he capitulates. In March, Starmer said the concept of vaccine passports is un-British. Today, he says he's going to vote them through, and he wants compulsory COVID testing too.
I think that passports on their own aren't enough because, as we know, sadly, you can be double jabbed and still get the new variant. So it's got to be passports plus testing.
As that shows, sadly, we remain without a real opposition, which, given the current moves towards more government controls over our lives, is a terrifying prospect. More good news on coronavirus today, though, as the Mail Online reported in their splash headline. UK's coronavirus cases drop for the 6th day in a row, and deaths fall for first time in a fortnight. Daily infections plummet 38% to 24,950, and fatalities decline by 24%. Now, all of this very good news will come as a huge surprise to Professor Lockdown himself, Neil Ferguson. who just a couple of weeks ago went on the BBC, no surprises there, to tell a still scared nation that 100,000 cases per day is almost inevitable, with 200,000 a day possible.
I think it's almost certain we'll get to 1,000 hospitalisations per day. It'll almost certainly get to 100,000 cases a day. The real question is, do we get to double that?
Oh. When do these scaremongering scientists plan to take the day off? If they don't know, why don't they shut up? No one is forcing them onto the BBC to spread fear with their terrifying projections all the time, which, let's never forget, have been proven wrong again and again. That's why I think the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, was wrong to delete this tweet. On Saturday, he posted full recovery from COVID a week after testing positive. Symptoms were very mild thanks to amazing vaccines. Please, if you haven't yet, get your jab as we learn to live with rather than cower from this virus. Sajid Javid was, of course, completely correct. Great leaders throughout time have always told their citizens to avoid fear. Mr. Javid should have stood by his words. Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.